Have you ever heard a story so strange, so chilling, that it makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up? A story that defies all logical explanation? Today, we are diving into one of the most baffling mysteries in history, the case of the Devil's footprints. Picture this: it's the night of February 8, 1855, in the county of Devon, England. A heavy snowfall blankets the landscape, covering everything in a thick, pristine layer of white. The people of southern Devon go to sleep, snug in their beds, unaware that the morning will bring a discovery that will puzzle and terrify them for generations. When dawn breaks, the residents wake up to an unbelievable sight. Strewn across the snow are a series of bizarre, single-file footprints. But these aren't just any tracks. They look like they were made by a cloven, hoof, similar to a donkey or a goat. Each print is about 4 inches long and 3 inches across. What's truly strange is the pattern. They appear in a perfectly straight line, one directly in front of the other, as if made by a 2-legged creature, not a 4-legged animal. The total distance these tracks covered is staggering, somewhere between 40 and 100 miles. They stretch across fields, through gardens, over walls, and even across the rooftops of houses. The prints were found in over 30 different locations, from the estuary of the river Exe all the way to Totens. Imagine the scene: villagers coming out of their homes, pointing in disbelief. The tracks lead right up to a 14-foot-high wall, disappear, and then reappear on the other side, continuing in the same straight line. They go through haystacks without disturbing them. They even appear on the snowy tops of tiny, inaccessible gateposts, and across steep, snow-covered roofs, only to continue on the ground on the other side, as if no obstacle was there. In one instance, the prints went straight through a small drainpipe, no wider than a few inches. How could any known animal do this? Panic began to set in. The local clergy and villagers, deeply religious at the time, came to a terrifying conclusion. The cloven hoof shape, the impossible path, it could only be the work of one entity, the devil himself. People were genuinely afraid. Some armed themselves, others refused to leave their homes after dark. The story spread like wildfire, and soon the national newspapers were reporting on the Great Devon Mystery. So, what could have caused these strange markings? Over the years, countless theories have been proposed, from the plausible to the outright bizarre. Let's explore some of them. First, the animal theories. Could it have been a kangaroo? Believe it or not, some people suggested an escaped kangaroo from a private zoo. Kangaroos do hop on 2 legs, but the tracks didn't look like kangaroo prints, and a kangaroo couldn't navigate 14-foot walls or pass through drainpipes. What about badgers? Badgers have a distinctive gait, and their paws can leave odd marks. But again, the sheer distance and the logic-defying path of the prints make this highly unlikely. The same goes for other suggestions, like otters, rats, or even cats. No known animal could cover that much ground in one night, in a single file line, over and under such impossible obstacles. Then there are the more creative explanations. One of the most famous theories from the time was proposed by a well-known naturalist. He suggested the prints were made by an experimental balloon. The idea was that a hot air balloon, accidentally released from a nearby dockyard, had dragged a grappling iron or some other object along the ground, creating the marks. This could explain the straight line and the ability to go over obstacles like walls. But this theory has problems too. How could a dangling object create such consistent, hoof-shaped prints? And how could it pass cleanly through a narrow drainpipe? Furthermore, no one reported seeing a rogue balloon that night, which seems unlikely given the widespread nature of the event. The weather that night was also calm, not windy enough to carry a balloon over such a great distance. Of course, we have to consider the possibility of a hoax. Could a group of pranksters have created the prints? This seems almost as impossible as the devil theory. To cover up to 100 miles in a single snowy night, across dozens of towns and villages, creating thousands of identical prints over impossible terrain, would have required a small army of coordinated hoaxers with incredible athletic ability and equipment. And for what purpose? Just for a laugh? It seems incredibly elaborate, and no one ever came forward to confess. This brings us back to the original, chilling explanation. For the people of 1855 Devon, who lived in a world where faith and folklore were intertwined with daily life, the idea of a supernatural visitor wasn't so far-fetched. The evidence seemed to point directly to a being not of this world. The hoof prints, the single file line, the defiance of all physical laws, it was a perfect storm of inexplicable events that fueled their deepest fears. The story was documented in letters, journals, and newspaper articles at the time. The Illustrated London News published a detailed account with sketches of the prints. Eyewitnesses were interviewed, and while their stories varied slightly, the core details remained consistent. Single file, hoof-like tracks that appeared where no living creature could go. So what really happened on that cold February night? Was it a mass hysteria, where people misinterpreted ordinary animal tracks in the snow? This is a popular modern explanation. Perhaps a rare combination of weather phenomena melting and refreezing altered the shape of prints from a common animal, like a wood mouse, making them look larger and more sinister. Mice are known to hop, which could explain the single file pattern. But could this account for the sheer scale and the incredible obstacles that were overcome? It seems to stretch credibility. The mystery of the devil's footprints remains one of the great unsolved puzzles. No single theory perfectly fits all the facts. Every logical explanation seems to fall short, leaving us with a lingering sense of wonder and unease. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the world can present us with events that defy our understanding. The case has inspired books, documentaries, and endless speculation. It's a historical whodunit without a culprit. It's a story that forces us to question the boundaries of what we think is possible. Was it a freak of nature, a clever hoax, or was something truly otherworldly walking through Devon that night? Over 160 years later, we are no closer to a definitive answer. The snow from that night has long since melted, but the story of the devil's footprints remains frozen in time, a chilling piece of folklore that continues to captivate and mystify us. What do you think happened? Do you have a theory that can crack the case? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to read what you all think about this incredible mystery. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the unknown. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the unexplained. See you next time.